that a quorum is present. I'd like to welcome all our visitors. Thank you for coming tonight. We're always glad to see smiling faces in the audience, so thank you for taking the time to come. And at this time, I would like to call on Rudy to say the Pledge of Allegiance and give an invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, just thank you for this day. Thank you for the special blessing of living in such a great city. Please be with this council and making the decisions that we make, and continue to be with our mayor as she leads us through our process. Please be with our country and watch over us in everything we do. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Cornelius. Copies of the February 18th, 2013 regular meeting and February 27th, 2013 special called council meeting have been distributed to the members of the council. Are there any corrections or additions to these minutes? Councilman Myers makes a motion to approve both sets of minutes. Councilman Stewart seconds the motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? At this time, I'd like to call on our Personnel Director, Ms. Bradley, to give a personnel report.
To fill the open position of 2 firefighters within the fire department, Chief Tracy Bales and I recommend the hire of Mr. Justice Ramsey and Stephen Oaks. Both of these candidates are certified by the Alabama Fire College and have passed all prerequisites required by us.
Make a motion to approve.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Bradley? Councilman Cornelius makes a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Oakley seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Personnel report passes. Thank you, Ms. Bradley. Next, we'd like to present the annexation ordinance that has been recommended by the Planning Commission. I'm going to read a partial description of both properties. Fawcett Road property, all that part of the north 1/2 of the southeast 1/4 of section 25, Township 8 South, Range 3 East in Marshall County, Alabama, that lies to the south of the Brasters Chapel Road, less 110 yards evenly off the east side thereof. Reed Road property beginning at the southeast corner of the southwest border of the southeast border of section 25, Township 8 South, Range 3 East, thence north to northeast corner of said 40. Also beginning at the southwest corner of the southeast border of said section 25, Township 8 South, Range 3 East, and with the remainder to be incorporated by reference as if set out in full. I'm sure everyone y'all know exactly what I'm talking about by that description. Do I have a motion to accept this, or would y'all like for Mr. Elder to give a report regarding this property?
I make a motion that we annex the property. Second.
Councilman Myers makes a motion to second the property. Councilman Mosley seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Stewart?
Yes.
Councilman Gillen?
Yes.
Councilman Carr?
Yes.
Councilman Mosley?
Yes.
Councilman Myers?
Yes.
Councilman Cornelius?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes. The property is annexed. Next, we would like to introduce and carry over the farmer's market ordinance. Is there any question or discussion? At this time, I'll call on Tank Connolly and Grover Williams to give us a little brief input on this.
I'll yield the tank.
What we've done over almost the past year is work with the ordinance, and we were tasked by this, about this time last year, tasked to do this, to try to get the ordinance and the market rules and all the different factors that go into running the farmer's market, get them kind of streamlined and get everything where everything kind of corresponded. We've done our due diligence on that. I think we're very close to having a passable ordinance. I think we're still going to need to visit on it some more with the city council. But I think shortly here, we should be able to have an acceptable ordinance and rules passed to where we should not have maybe some of the issues we've had there in the past.
And this was recommended by the Farmers Market Advisory Board.
Correct, which was made up of city councilmen and several farmers, and then me as the recreation board director. And we spent many months working on this, and hopefully we can get it honed in and have it where it's just right.
Does anyone have any questions for either one of these gentlemen? If not, we will carry this over until the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda has been carried over from our last meeting, and it is a resolution to vacate a portion of Avalon Way located in Connors Island Industrial Park. Councilman Mosley made a motion to vacate the road.
Second.
Councilman Cornelius seconded the motion. Is there any discussion or questions regarding this? If not, I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Stewart,
Yes.
Councilman Gillen,
Yes.
Councilman Carr,
Yes.
Councilman Mosley,
Yes.
Councilman Myers,
Yes.
Councilman Cornelius,
Yes.
Mayor Dodd.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is bids were sought and publicly opened regarding the early warning sirens. We approved a grant back in November, I believe, for the purchase of these, and we're just now getting, for the funding of these, and we're just now getting around to the purchase and installation. The low bidder was McCord Communication of Anniston with a bid of $27,994 each, and that's a total of 7 of those, and one $198 antenna if necessary. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Councilman Cornelius makes a motion to approve. Councilman Myers seconds the motion. Is there any discussion or any questions?
Just one thing, when we previously addressed it, we had already picked out the locations that have been designated for these sirens, right?
Yes, I believe that's correct, isn't it? Mr. Elder, whatever you want.
Yes, that's correct.
Those were in the initial, and I'm sorry, I don't have those with me
Yes,
to
I
let you know
remember.
those,
We
but they're,
hadn't picked out the location, I just want to let folks know that the location had been picked out for the installation.
correct.
This has been a long way in coming.
Yes. So, and I believe we're working with trying to get them installed at the same time the county's getting theirs installed, so that it would help all of us out. Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution is adopted. Next on the agenda is bids were sought and publicly opened for a skid steer. This will be paid for by a recycling grant, and the grant was budgeted, the income and the purchase of this. And the low bidder was HMC of Haverhill with a bid of $30,253.67. $30,253.67.
Motion to approve?
Councilman Gillen makes a motion to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second. Councilman Myers seconds the motion. Are there any questions or discussions? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Next on the agenda is a resolution to contract with Alabama Resources and North Alabama Electric to install overhead electrical lines to power the permanent pumping station at Gunner's Landing. And I'd like to call on Brent DeMuth to give a report on this.
Thank you. Back in May of last year, the council approved the permanent and temporary pumping station for Gunner's Landing. And during the installation of all of that, Alabama Resources was the winning bidder. Ran into some weather-related and rock situation for running the overhead power lines to the pumping station. And they've come back and we have a bid of $14,000. The low bid is $14,760. That's an FAA approved, so the city matches 5% of that.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Heath? If not, I would like to ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Councilman Cornelius makes a motion to approve. Councilman Gillen seconds the motion. Any questions or discussions? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The resolution is adopted. Next, I will call on Chief Battles to give us a little fire department. It's listed as fire department refinance, but I think it's going to be more of a fire department just update regarding the trucks. We're still working on getting all the paperwork finalized on refinance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The only thing I've got to report tonight on financial is that we have approached a couple other vendors and received documentation from them. We haven't had time to sit down and review that completely and come back to each of you with a recommendation. By the next council meeting, we should be prepared to make a recommendation on what we feel is the best financing option for the city. But that's where we're at today on the financing options. As regarding the trucks themselves, we do have the engine in the fire station room. We secured that late last week. It went to New Jersey and got back late Friday evening with that truck. Made the trip fine, the truck did well. So the only thing we've got remaining to pick up is the small trucks, and it's looking like it's probably the week after next before they're ready for us to pick up. But we should have those at that point in time, and then we'll start working to do the things we need to do for better operations.
Does anyone have any questions for Chief Battles? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
At this time, is there anyone in the public that would like to come forward and say anything? If so, I ask you to come to the podium, state your name and address, please. Don't everybody jump up at once. Please come forward and state your name and address.
My name is John Neely. I live at 77 Honeycomb Valley Road. I'm not a resident of the city. But I'm very disappointed in you, Madam Mayor, and the council, for this resolution that y'all are about to pass on us to take our guns away in a time of crisis. Now, I understand you rescinded that. You rescinded it on Wednesday. I read about it in the paper on Saturday. I'd like to know even if that procedure was legal, since the public did not know about this until it was already done. Now, I admire you for rescinding it, but my question to you tonight is, why did you put it out there to start with? Now, when you took your oath of office, you swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Not part of it, but the Constitution. And I remind you, the Second Amendment is a part of that Constitution. And it clearly states that the right to possess and bear arms shall not be infringed. And to me, that means I've got my gun, and I can keep my gun, and nobody can come in and take it. Now, again, I'm very disappointed in you. And I hope every citizen in this city will remember it when you're up for re-election. Thank you.
Mr. Daly, I'm going to have Mr. Warren answer your questions.
Okay.
Our city attorney.
Mr. Daly, what you need to understand is that this council, neither the council nor the mayor proposed that ordinance. We had somebody attend a seminar that was about emergency preparedness. There was a representative from the city of Tuscaloosa that suggested we look at the state law that addresses emergency preparedness. Based upon Tuscaloosa recommendation, I drafted an ordinance that is straight from the state law, tracing the language of the state law. Sent it to the council, there was objections raised, it was withdrawn. The mayor didn't put it forth, the council people didn't put it forth. We had a suggestion from the city of Tuscaloosa that I put in writing and presented to these people, and they decided not to go forward. Does that answer your question?
Well, it does to a degree, but if nobody had came Wednesday and raised a fuss about this, or nobody had said anything about it, would this not have passed?
Which,
There were questions in the very first time we introduced it. We had people that questioned it, and the intent of the ordinance was never to disarm individuals. The intent of the ordinance was to grant the mayor, whether it be me or the next mayor, whoever, the authority to put out resources, basically to not have to go by the bid law, to call in all personnel needed, to establish a curfew, and it only enforced existing police power. We were not granting them any more power whatsoever than they already have today by state law. We were not trying to infringe on anyone's rights. I don't want anybody to come take my guns. And I completely understand that as well as everybody else on this council. But the intent of the ordinance was to allow the mayor to go ahead and act in an emergency situation. If we needed to rent equipment that was going to be more than $15,000, then the mayor could actually go ahead and accomplish that without getting the council together and getting that authority to do that, as well as spending unbudgeted money and personnel.
going on private property.
And going on private property to take care of issues. That was the intent of the ordinance.
Well, I don't think that the ordinance was understood that way. I didn't understand it that way. There again, all I know is what I read in the paper. And this was even picked up by national news. So there's a lot of people that misunderstood what your intent was.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of words put in my mouth that were never spoken.
Mr. Neely, have you read a copy of the ordinance?
No, I have not. I have not.
Okay.
You know,
That ordinance was so misconstrued, it was ridiculous. There was nowhere in that ordinance that said that we were just gonna come in and start taking up guns. Now, if you had violated the law with a gun, the police officers have a right to take your gun.
absolutely,
But in
absolutely.
that ordinance, that emergency preparedness ordinance, there was not a place in there, and I'll shoot you right to it. It's section 6. It does not say if you're lawfully doing what you're doing with your gun, you're okay. I'm a hunter, I got guns. And I love them. But that ordinance did not say that we were gonna come in your house, like I've been told, come in your house and get your guns in the case of a disaster, okay, or emergency, whatever.
Was the ordinance printed in the paper?
It was not.
No.
Then it should have been. And I'm
You
looking
can
over
go
at
to
Doug.
codes, and I will give you the code section. I think it will be forever ingrained in my brain. It is Alabama Code Section 31-9-10. You can search that on the internet, and it will pull you right to it. You can read the entire ordinance and see the intent
Okay.
of that ordinance.
Now, what's the website again?
You can go to just search Alabama Code Section
Okay.
31-9-10, and it should take you straight to that code section, and you can read that ordinance. If
Okay.
you can't find it, call City Hall, and we'll get you a copy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Neal.
Oh, that's the whole ordinance. That's the whole ordinance. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say? If not,
Motion to adjourn.
Councilman Gillen makes a motion to adjourn. Councilman Cornelius second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?